Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Sunday Politics, live on Channels Television. I am Sean Kimale here in Abuja. Tonight, we'll put a spotlight on what is happening within the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. In the past few days, we've seen resignation from one of those persons who helped to build the party, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. And all of that has gotten a lot of attention. And tonight, Atiku Abubakar leaving the party, a move that has sent tremors across the political spectrum, as officially his resignation from the PDP has caused some reactions. A party helped shape over 2 decades. His resignation letter cited deep frustrations with internal party democracy, what he termed, quote, a captured structure, and a loss of ideological clarity. The announcement comes amid widening cracks in the PDP, which, of course, he has said that with the reports indicating that several high-profile members across the Northeast and South-South are already considering jumping ship. Well, as questions mount over whether this is the beginning of the end for Nigeria's main opposition party, we turn to the man who now carries the burden of minority leadership in the Senate, Senator Abba Moro, for clarity, direction, and the PDP's next chapter. But beyond politics, also, our conversation will be on the deeper debate which is unfolding the future of Nigeria's constitutional framework, with the patriots and other elder statesmen reigniting the call for a full constitutional overhaul, not just a review. Many say this is the nation's real unfinished business. With the 10th National Assembly rise to the moment, can a fragmented opposition lead that charge, and what does the PDP truly stand for in this new terrain? Senator Abba Moro, Senate Minority Leader, joins us now. Thank you so much, distinguished, for joining us tonight on the program.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be with you.
Did you ever envisage that Atiku was going to leave the PDP?
Well, I never thought that he would leave PDP, but if you recall very succinctly, even scholars of politics say that politics is the act of the possible. And so everything in politics is therefore possible. And so if Atiku Abubakar saw other formations and decided to deal with the PDP, and he has decided to go away from the PDP, like I said, in a crisis situation of this nature, anything is possible. And what has happened certainly is possible. And I can tell you this, that for quite some time, quite frankly, for those of us in the PDP, we knew quite all right that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was on his way out of the party, because for quite some time now, he has not been attending the activities of the PDP. And so
you were not blindsided about this?
No. I can tell you this, and any PDP member who has been very active in attending functions of the PDP, especially NEC and BOT and caucus and the rest of them, will tell you that for some months now, he has been away from the party.
But what does it say about the internal workings of the party, the cohesion within the party? That was your man, was the face of the party in 2019, the face of the party in 2023, perhaps the what we will call the force behind the party for these 2 consecutive elections. What does this move by him say about the cohesion or the internal workings of your party? Does it look like the party is finished?
The party certainly is not finished, I can assure you that. But definitely for a man of Atiku Abubakar's stature to leave the PDP, that is supposed to be the main opposition party in the country today, certainly speaks volumes. But I have said this before, and I keep saying that the party PDP is not about one person. It's not about 2 persons. The party is about members of the party. And as people walk out, people walk in too. And if people who voluntarily join the party voluntarily decide to leave, there is nothing you can do about it. The reality on ground is that they have left. And so it is left for those of us who want to remain with the party, who are remaining with the party, to pick up the pieces and move on.
So you're not subscribing to the opposition coalition platform, the ADC, which some people say could be used as a vehicle to fight the ruling party, APC?
Well, that is what members of the ADC will tell you, that they have come together from all shades of works and all shades of all parts of Nigeria to come together from all parts of backgrounds to come together to fight the ruling party. And if you recall, in one of my outings here, I said, look, I don't subscribe to politics of gang-ups. I don't subscribe to all these shenanigans about we want to fight this, we want to fight this, and the rest of them. All of us here are Nigerians, and the things that are happening in Nigeria today are happening in our faces. And so, if something is going wrong in Nigeria, in a democracy, there are two options. Either we put our heads together, try to constructively engage the ruling party to right the wrongs and rebuild this country and make it great again, or you move to a different platform to say, okay, we want to see how we can wrest power from the ruling party. Those who have gone to the ADC have chosen the latter option of picking a platform to wrest power from the ruling party. How far they can go is all for conjecture.
So you are not joining them?
I'm not joining them.
Even if it grows so strong and it looks like the platform to beat?
Well, I can assure you that where I am also is getting stronger and stronger. And I can also tell you that I can provide some level of resistance
So you know, Senator, you know what people say? You are a David Mark ally. You are an Atiku ally. So when people see these people move in that direction, they will say, oh, Abamoro too will gravitate towards that direction. There are those who are saying that it's just a matter of time. Abamoro is just taking his time. He will follow suit. David Mark, he's his leader. Atiku Abubakar is his leader. He will follow suit.
Well, but the reality on ground is that I'm not following. That is the truth about the matter. I'm comfortable in PDP. I have no reason to leave PDP now or in the near future. Those who have left PDP have their reasons for leaving PDP. And no matter what people say, PDP is in crisis, there's division in PDP, therefore they are leaving and the rest of them, fine. If there is division and crisis in PDP, leaders of PDP should stay in PDP and fix it. Because some of them may be responsible for even the problem
is there anything to fix in that party area in?
I mean, I don't understand.
Because there are those who are alleging that the party is just an empty shell as it is right now. And look at what Atiku Abubakar said. He cited a lack of ideological clarity and takeover of party structures by money bags. Those are his reasons for his exit. Well, as someone who has served the party over the years, through the thick and the thin, is there merit to the claims of Atiku Abubakar?
Well, let me tell you this for free. I don't like talking about personalities, and I don't like talking down on elders. People who have been in PDP up to this point complain about lack of ideological clarity. That makes a statement even about themselves. We have been here, all of us in PDP, up to this point. If you want to leave PDP for personal reasons, you can conveniently walk away, but not to give insinuations that are not realistic. You know, ideological clarity in what is the ideological clarity in ADC? What is the ideology of ADC? And don't forget, people are already complaining in ADC that, look, we have our party. We knew where we were going. And some persons have come all of a sudden and taken over the structures of the party without following due process, without following the constitution of the party. Again, that is a story for another day. But I agree with you completely that there is crisis in PDP now, but those who have left have their reasons for leaving. Those of us who are staying behind, okay, if you talk about Senate President, we still have 2 Senate Presidents in the PDP.
There's a Bukola Saraki who is leading the...
We have so many ex-governors already still in PDP. They are not walking away.
But some of them are one step in, one step out.
Well, you are just assuming. It makes speculation. One step away, one step in. I mean, it doesn't sound realistic to me.
Senator George Akume, for example.
Is one step away to where?
He's in that gathering.
Which gathering?
You didn't see him at the ADC meeting.
George Akume.
I mean, sorry, I'm referring to the former governor in Benue State,
Gabriel Suswan.
Gabriel
Suswan has been complaining about everything in PDP for a long time, from leadership to congresses and the rest of them. We had congresses in Benue State, and some of them lost out in the congresses, and then they want to bring the roof down. And I don't want, like I said, I don't want to talk about personalities, because what are some of these people bringing to the table? If you contest election on the platform of PDP, you lose. You contest election on the platform of PDP, all the other candidates, save from a zone, lost election. House of Representatives, lost everything. House of Assembly, lost everything. Senate, lost everything. And then you have the audacity to complain about that platform.
Samuel Otom has complained about Samuel Otom, the former governor of Benue State, also complained about the Atiku forces within the party.
Yeah.
And now that they are exiting, what do you make of that factor too?
Sometimes you think that some of these exits are good write-downs to bad rubbish. Because some of these people, I can tell you today, may have been responsible for the crisis that we have in this party today. And, you know, I had occasion, even on this year platform, to talk about Okowa, who said that he regretted accepting nomination to be vice president. And so, the vice president and the presidential candidate of the PDP in the 2023 election, the fallout of which we are immersed in crisis today, have left the party. And they give reason of lack of ideological clarity, lack of cohesion, lack of blah, 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 leadership and all the rest of them. These are issues that ordinarily I would not want to talk about, because these are people that have come a long way in politics. These are elder statesmen. And like I said, they had better say they are leaving PDP for personal reasons and not to give flimsy excuses.
Are you able to douse the tension on quench the fire? For example, and the story about, for example, in Osun State now, Governor Adele is exiting from the PDP. The story is getting stronger by the day that he's going to leave the party. Are you able to assist the party to quench the fire?
Sean, let me tell you something. A time of crisis is a time for speculation. A time of crisis is a time to spread falsehood. You know too well that I occupy a position in the PDP that have forced me the opportunity of seeing from both sides of the coin. And I can tell you today, mark my word, everything about Adele leaving PDP to go to another party and the rest of them are mere speculations. I can tell you, as at this moment that I'm talking to you, there is no story before me to indicate that Adele and members of his group in Osun State are leaving PDP.
Except something changes tomorrow.
Except something changes
tomorrow. Senator Adefada Hussein had left.
Yes.
He's from Osun State.
Yes,
he's one of the strong. He's your colleague.
It's my colleague.
You have lost one. Your minority ship.
I've lost
your minority leadership is also.
I've lost even more because it is Fabi and Fadahunsi that have left. And wherever he is now, he will tell you that him and I have been having discussions. Fadahunsi, for instance. We've been having discussions, the pros and cons and the rest of them. You see, there is a problem here. Problem of identity. Problem of audacity, of hope. So many people that are giving you reasons of crisis in PDP, leaving party and the rest of them, are actually leaving PDP for fear of their future.
Survivor.
They think that if they remain in PDP, this present administration has the capacity to derail their elections, to ensure that they didn't win elections and the rest of them. But they forget who made them senators today, who made them governors today, who made them House of Representative members today? The electorate. And I have said it consistently. Majority of the electorates that are members of PDP or sympathizers of PDP are still there. And they will determine who becomes what in the next election. And so I'm afraid let those people not jump from frying pan to fire.
The analysts within the Austrian politics are saying Adeleke's assurance of getting a re-election is assured if he moves into the APC. Staying in the PDP might be injurious to his ambition of a second term or re-election. And survivor is a key word. Political survivor is a key word here. And you were saying you have not heard, but Senator, maybe you are far away from Osun State. But I've got my ears to the ground.
I also, in fact, I have my ears more to the ground. Because even as I'm sitting with you, in the last 30 minutes, I've been speaking to gladiators in the Osun politics. And I am very, very sure of what I'm saying. Those people who are speculating that Adeleke will be more assured of his re-election in APC than if he stayed in PDP have forgotten that serious members of the APC in Osun State, the Omishores and the rest of them, have said that Adeleke should not come to their party. That they have candidates enough to win elections to let Adeleke come and seize their party. And those same persons in APC were there when Adeleke fought and won his election. Now he has become governor. And I keep telling my colleagues, the only assurance, the only certificate to winning re-election is good governance. And so if Adeleke continues to do those things that the Osun people want, if Adeleke continues to execute projects that are germane to the lives of the people, that impact on the life of the people, I can tell you, whatever platform and PDP that he is now will give him the victory.
So, I mean, consequence on the exit of Atiku Abubakar, we are hearing and seeing reports from Adamawa, Bauchi, and even in Bayelsa of prominent PDP members defecting or threatening to defect in solidarity with Atiku. Are we witnessing the beginning of a political hemorrhage for the PDP ahead of 2027?
Well, again, I am an incurable optimist. There was this day that the Board of Trustees of the PDP was re-inaugurated and some new members inducted. If you were a pessimist, if you had thought that PDP had died, and you saw former governors, former Senate President, former House of Rep members, former House of Assembly members, and former Deputy Governors converge to be inducted as members of the Board of Trustees, then that exercise alone is enough to keep hope alive. And so today, you are talking about people, prominent PDP members who are in sympathy with Atiku, threatening to decamp to ADC in sympathy with Atiku. Fine. All these people that you are talking about now, I suppose, were there in 2023. And you will agree with me that one of the most disastrous elections that PDP had ever got involved with was the 2023 general election.
It was disastrous.
It was disastrous, especially, look at my state, for instance. Out of 11 House of Representative members, PDP won only in one constituency, Apa Agatu, in my senatorial constituency.
For the presidential election?
For the House of Rep election. And out of the 3 senators in Benue, I'm the only senator on the platform of PDP that won my election. The rest went APC. For the presidential election, of course, APC won in Benue State. The records are there. And these same persons, the Gabriel Suswans and the rest of them that you just mentioned now, were there. And so it is not therefore automatic for anybody to assume that because you have big names moving to a political party, therefore it's automatic that that party will win election. What you do with the electorate, your antecedents with the electorate and the rest of them, determines whether you win election or not. And I can assure you that by the time, and I said it before, by the time PDP puts all the processes that we have engaged in, caucus meeting, DOT meeting, NEC meeting, national convention, by the time we put all this together, all these processes together, witnessed by INEC, and PDP settles down, PDP will bounce back because the people are still there, the electorates are there, and that, like I said, PDP is a very big brand that in every nook and cranny of Nigeria today, you find members of the PDP. And so, because people are decamping from PDP to another party or to other parties, somebody thinks that PDP is dead. No, PDP is not dead. And I can assure you that sometimes it is even good to be adjudged as underdog. And then you can spring surprises. And I can tell you that PDP will spring surprises.
Some will say that PDP's biggest problem is not Atiku's exit, but the absence of credible, unified leadership to rally the base. As a Senate Minority Leader, what is your plan, if any, to prevent what could be a total collapse of the PDP's structures across the grassroots and at the national level?
Well, we have started. Many states have had their congresses up to the state congress. We have in Benue State. Kwara is next month. They will have their congresses up to the state congress. And we have had our zonal congresses and produced leaders of the party. What remained actually before the crisis of confidence as to who is secretary of the party or not took the center stage was the zonal congresses and the national convention. And the zonal congresses have produced a crop of new leadership. The convention is supposed to have held early enough to produce a crop of new leadership that will now settle down and prepare for the challenges of elections ahead. And so, on the 24th, that is next Thursday, the PDP is going to hold its NEC meeting. And coming out of that NEC meeting will be approval of several activities that will culminate in the National Convention. And the National Convention, as you know, is the platform to elect national officers of the party. And we are working round the clock to make sure that very serious members of the party, very committed members of the party, people who are unwavering in their commitment to the party, are elected as national officers of the party to form the new look National Working Committee. Once that happens, and members of the party rally around the party, if I can show you a clip of what has been sent to me from our home now, everybody in the Benue South Senatorial District, local government by local government, have held meetings and they have recommitted themselves to the PDP. Women, young men, and men, they have recommitted themselves to the PDP. And so I think that we should exercise a little patience, watch the PDP rearrange itself, and disappoint those who think that PDP is dead.
Let's take the conversation to what has triggered the movement and the realignment, which is about the 2027 election.
Yeah.
And the rumored coalition, there are those who say that PDP on its own cannot defeat this APC that we are seeing. The manner in which PDP is structured, it looks like the biggest opposition political party in Nigeria today, but the way a manner is structured may not be able to withstand the Tinubu tsunami and the APC force in 2027. And so there will be thinking around whether PDP will join forces and align with the NNPP of this world, the Labour Party of this world, and other stronger political parties to form a united force against the APC. Do you see that kind of thing happening?
Well, you know, this is a new phenomenon in Nigerian politics. And you know too well, too, that it is a rare occurrence in other civilized democracies. If you look at the American system, for instance, there are so many political parties. But the two dominant political parties are the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. In the last general election, you saw what happened. That many Republican parties who were averse to Trump and his policies and style of leadership worked against Donald Trump. Of course, Donald Trump went ahead to win the election. That has not ordinarily decimated the parties. The Democratic Party is still there, working hard to bounce back. The Republican Party is holding on. And so here in Nigeria, there was nothing fantastic about losing our elections in 2023. What is fantastic about it all is the attitude of members of the party, especially leaders of the party, that people looked up to salvage the situation. Of course, the outcome of the election certainly was troubling and gave every indication that things are not okay with the PDP. But I tell you one story here from the Bible. At the time that David was going to confront Goliath, nobody gave David a chance. But David beat Goliath. And so, this government is in its 2 years, moving to 3 years. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And I hope, sincerely, that they improve on the standard of governance that is on the ground now. If they do not improve, a time will come when Nigerians can say, let it be anybody but APC.
Is it looking like that right now?
Well, right now, like I said, it's just 2 years into the system. They talked about a lot of policies that they have brought in, reforms and the rest of them, and that these reforms will be yielding results very soon. If these reforms don't yield results, if Nigeria continues to hurt, if insecurity persists, if our agricultural production continues to diminish and there is serious crisis of food security, I don't need to tell you.
So as it is right now, Tinubu and APC are not electable with the Nigerian populace.
If you got me very well, I said if the situation persists.
Yeah, so I'm saying like in America, there's midterm elections. Yeah. So let's assume that in midterm elections, there are a lot of offsets that happen.
Yeah.
This is in the mid of policy policy execution of a government in power.
Yeah.
So when a party goes into election, it's very delicate. So assuming there's a midterm election today in Nigeria, the Tinubu and APC might lose it. That's what you're saying.
But there is no midterm election.
No, I'm just asking. Hypothetically.
You are just assuming.
No. The question you're saying, my question is simple.
I think it's a little absurd for me to assume, in the absence of a midterm election, that Tinubu will lose election.
But if Tinubu goes into election today, based on your assessment, do you think this government is electable?
not going into any election today. And I'm not a hypothetical person. I'm a realistic person.
But what about the popularity of that?
Is why
you're a grassroots man.
That's why I told you. Nigerians are hurting, no doubt about it. There is insecurity, no doubt about it. And people are saying, if you can't solve the problem, then you have a problem. Okay? Now, if it continues like this, and Nigerians cannot afford 2 square meals, 1 square meal a day, a hungry man is an angry man. And so they can take it on the electorate. So if it continues and the expectations, the hope agenda, renewed hope agenda, if the renewed hope agenda is not giving hope to anybody, then certainly in 2027, Nigerians will have a rethink. And like I said, the reforms that have been introduced by this administration are said to go to be yielding a result in the near future. But if that near future dovetails into election, definitely the result is as good as known already.
So let me push you in the conversation where you play your politics in the midst of variety of politicians, variety in ethnicity, variety in religion, variety in worldview and politics and ideology. And there are those who say, look, Atiku's movement out of the PDP is actually strategic than actually being aggrieved. And perhaps those say he's positioning himself to lead a new coalition under a different umbrella ahead of the 2027. And in the real sense of it, there are those who will argue about the politics of zoning arrangement, that the unwritten rule about if the South serves for this term, the North should get its own term. One of the things that actually ignited a fire in your party is about a Northerner getting a ticket, one of the issues. Where do you think will satisfy Nigerians within the scheme of things? And you are a member of the party, of the PDP, with your wisdom. Can you guide on what you think can help Nigeria to be able to, navigate the 2027 politics in peace?
Well, thank you. If you recall, from the beginning, I did say that people who are moving out of PDP now, citing crisis, may have been responsible in the first place for the crisis in PDP. And if you recall, in one of my outings here, I told you that in 2022-23, the PDP, in order to unseat the government of APC, decided to put its best foot forward. And at that time, they picked Atiku Abubakar against the grain of an unwritten agreement of North-South presidency. It backfired. And so we went into this crisis. And so today, majority of Nigerians at that time chose a Southern candidate to fulfill the righteousness of the unwritten convention of North-South presidency. That presidency is 4 years in by the end of 2026. The Constitution permits an individual 4 years of 2 terms. Again, it's going to present some little somersault if you now, against the backdrop of what happened in 2023, to begin to tinker with the idea of getting power back to the North. The reasonable thing to do is the South should produce the next president to complete 8 years of the South. And automatically, even though unwritten, automatically, Nigerians will be looking up to the North to produce the next president in 2031.
Let it be a comfortable place for us to take our first break. But when we return, I'd like to get your view on the constitutional amendment and the push by the Patriots for an overhaul of the Constitution 1990. We'll be right back after this break, everyone. With Senator Abamoro on constitutional review and whether or not that is going to be the solution to fixing Nigeria. Join us again, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Let's get back to the conversation with Senator Abamoro, Senate Minority Leader in Nigerian 10th Senate. Thanks so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Give us an understanding of the push by the Patriots, the elder statesmen who gathered in Abuja for 3 days. And part of what they are clamoring for is a total overhaul of the Nigerian Constitution.
Well, thank you very much. And first of all, let me remind us that the Constitution is a live document. And every constitution, there is provision for amendment. And I think that it is not realistic to call for a total abandonment of an existing document that is the ground norm of all the society, and then think about springing up a surprise of a brand new constitution that will encapsulate all the aspirations of the Nigerian people. It's not even possible. But I also want to say from the onset that, look, the problems in Nigeria today is not the result of the absence of laws and regulations. I think the problem is in our attitude. The problem is in the kind of leadership that we have at any point in time or the other. And so, if you look at the Constitution, let me give you a small example. Section 7(1) of the Constitution provides for a democratically elected government. Today, more than 60% of Nigerian local governments are run by appointees of governors. And I say, like I used to say, who will bet the cat? Who is going to enforce that Section 7(1) of the Constitution that provides for a democratically elected government? The Supreme Court has ruled on several occasions that caretaker committees, sole administrators appointed by governor, are illegal contractions. Yet, there's nobody to enforce that judgment up to this moment. In 2014, the government of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, convocated a reform committee, and they came out with very, very germane recommendations, ranging from devolution of power to restructuring and rearrangement of Nigeria and the rest of them. All those things were there. Unfortunately, the government didn't have the time to start the implementation of those recommendations. And then another government took over. That document is still in the archives. Nobody has touched it. Nobody.
But Senator,
nobody has touched it.
You look at the constitutional review that is being done, carried out in the life of every session of the National Assembly, the 10th National, the 9th National, the 8th National Assembly, and it's like a circle. And there are a lot of people who have criticized what they call repeated cosmetic amendments and approaches to it. In our country today, and you see that those who are now agitating for more creation of more state, what would you say should be the major priority for Nigerians or for Nigeria in that amendment process?
Well, in an amendment process, the priority for the legislature is a priority of Nigerians, what Nigerians want. Because that is why we're here.
We talk about state police. We have not been able to make it happen over the years. We talk about inclusion of minority voices within the Constitution. That has not happened. We talk about true federalism to be captured in the Constitution. That has not happened. And there are those who are thinking that you and your colleagues are not really very committed to championing the agitation that the yearnings of the average person.
Well, you can say that again, but I can tell you this, that those who are arguing from that perspective do not understand the dynamics of the process involved. Let me tell you something, that if you make proposals, for instance, for electoral reform, for instance, you are introducing electronic voting and transmission of results and the rest of them, it has to go to the states.
For concurrence.
For concurrence, the State House of Assembly.
And that's why most times it's being killed.
That's why it's being killed. Some people think that if you do that, you take away their elections. And so they refuse to concur. The issue of state police is also a little controversial, if you will accept that. Because we talked about, now that fuel subsidy has been removed, and there is more money to the states now. Otherwise, you will recall that before the advent of this administration, this present administration, that most state governments, except a few, were unable to pay salaries of workers. And then you are talking about a superstructure of additional police force that the state will recruit and maintain. That was an impossibility. Then, of course, there is this political argument of the tendency amongst governors to use state police to undermine opponents.
And to hunt after opposition.
Yeah, that is why many persons now say, okay, let's now try and do with community policing. Even at that, most state governments, for instance, Benue, are unable to even fund the vigilante outfits in Benue State. So, and then you are talking about the whole superstructure of police force. So these are the complications that are involved. And so I think that there is something drastic that should be done to change the mindsets and the attitudes of Nigerians towards institutions of this nature. Otherwise, we'll be going round and round and round.
In circles.
Okay, if that gathering will produce a constitution and you want it adopted, how many are they? Who do they represent? They are concerned Nigerians. They are patriotic Nigerians, no doubt about it. Virtually all of them that you found there were in the Constitutional Conference of 2014. It's just like people now gravitating towards ADC. Old people from PDP, from SDP, from NMPP and the rest of them, they have gone to coalesce in ADC. And you say it's a new outfit.
All right, Senator Abamoro, Senate Minority Leader, thank you so much indeed for your time. Always a pleasure having you speak to us on some of these issues.
My pleasure.
And we wish peace. I command peace into your party, just like Christians will pray.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You should say you receive it.
Amen. Amen.
Senator Abamoro, thank you so much.
When it happens, I will come to you.
No problem. And you should pay your tithe.
I pay my tithe.
Thank you so much. We'll take a break, everyone. But when we return, Mr. Dumebi Kachikwu will be joining us on the allegations of a forceful takeover of the ADC by the Atiku-led coalition. Join us again, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. On this half of the program, we put the spotlight on the storm brewing within the African Democratic Congress, ADC, a party once regarded as a rising third force in Nigeria's democracy, just months after fresh talks of an opposition coalition began to gain momentum. Controversy erupted when former ADC presidential candidate Mr. Dumebi Kachikwu raised alarm over what he described as a hostile and unconstitutional takeover of the party by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and his loyalists. The allegation, which has ignited fiery reactions across political cycles, suggests that key structures within the ADC are being allegedly hijacked to provide Atiku with a new political platform following his dramatic resignation from the PDP. At the center of the allegation is the suggestion that a coalition effort may have been repackaged as a power grab. Let's speak with a man who is alleging. Mr. Dumebi Kachikwu is the presidential candidate of the ADC in the 2023 elections. He's live for us in our studio. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Sean.
How would you regard that as a power grab? You said they are buying votes, they are buying your members of your party. How?
What's simple? What's happening is that some of the state chairmen who were with the past national chairman of the party are being induced, being offered different sums of money for them to relinquish their positions before the convention is due sometime next year, so that they can put in place a new structure across the country. So states and local government structures across the country. Like I said, I warned, the whole ADC structure is being packaged for the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. And since I started warning people about what's happening, we can see what's happening within the coalition. Someone like Mr. P2B now understands that that whole coalition was packaged for Atiku Abubakar. From our understanding, what we are saying now is that he's looking in other directions, and other people who want to run, who are aspiring to run, now realize that the coalition was indeed no coalition. It was just a vehicle for Atiku Abubakar's ambition. But I still say this: the ADC will never be the vehicle for that ambition.
Can you stop it? It's a storm that doesn't look like it's going to be. It can be stopped.
The storm has already been contained. The reality is that there are laws and there are laws. The condition of my party, no matter who you buy out, does not give you room for you to come into the party just like that. Secondly, this next election is not going to be the same like previous elections. There will be no class exploitation. A lot of people believe that what the people they call the rank-and-daily population in the north, who they exploit and manipulate their minds, that they will be used in this election in the way they have always been used in previous elections. I want to assure Nigerians, if it's the last thing I do, I'll inform, I'll educate our people on what the real Nigeria is. These politicians will have no say in that direction anymore. It cannot happen. It's a different dispensation that we're going to experience now.
Because you're fighting the Atiku, the Tambuwal, the Amechi, the Peter Obi, and all of those people who have come into the ADC. And those who say, you came fifth the last time. Why don't you relinquish the party to those who can make a good use of it to fight the ruling party? The promise that they were going to house the ruling party in 2027. Why are you fighting that? Because the Nigerians who are clamoring, who are in support of what is happening in the ADC right now.
They are coming into my house where they don't know and can't navigate within my house. They don't know the rooms. They don't know how many bedrooms are in that house. They don't know where the kitchen is. They don't know where the garage is. Trust me, my house is going to be a difficult place for them to survive. I can assure you.
But you are a latecomer. If you know the history and the back ending to the ADC organization, you will know that Atiku Abubakar has been a supporter of this party for years, even from inception, from registration.
I can tell you that anybody who tells you anything like that is telling you lies from the pit of hell. There's no such thing. They are repackaging different stories. They are coming up with all sorts of stories that are not true and that are totally inconsistent with reality. And they will say all these things to make it seem like they have an affinity or a relationship with the ADC. Why the ADC now? Why did they first approach SDP? Why did they try what the other party tried from ADA? If they had ADC, if he has always been part of ADC, why did they go in that route in the first place? I'm telling you, these guys, if there's a party called Goat Party and it's available, they will jump on that party.
But I mean, do you still have the ambition of running 2027?
Absolutely.
And you want to go against the Amechis of this world, the Peter Obis of this world?
Tell you what.
The Atikus of this world?
Tell you what. You know what? Nigeria is yearning for fresh ideas, fresh ideals, fresh faces. And that's what we're bringing to the table. The last election, like I said, my first time in the political space, out of 19 candidates, I came fifth after the major players we have had for the last 3 decades. President Tinubu, Vice President Atiku, Mr. Peter Obi, and Kwakwan. So I came fifth in that election. We're going to try again. What will happen is that ultimately Nigerians will keep on hearing the message of change, of real rescue, of going in a different direction, of a Nigeria that works for everybody. We can't keep on speaking this same song, dancing to the same song that these people have been singing since. We can't dance to their drum beats anymore.
Except you are working for the powers that be. Can you beat them?
Shehu, I will say this, right? The real power we have in Nigeria is the power of the Nigerian people. There's not like the powers that be. The power of the president of Nigeria derives from the constitution. The constitution is the Nigerian people. We keep on forgetting this. But what will happen is this, Shehu. Watch in the next 6 months, 10 months, 12 months, 18 months. You'll see the Nigerian people gradually begin to understand that these politicians, the people we saw in that video last time when they called the coalition, people who have been there for 3 decades, they don't mean them well. They are there for their own, to revive their political economy. They have been out of office for 8 years.
For the sea of heads that you see there, very prominent Nigerians, you know, who have been in the political space for several years, you say that...
I tell you what, Shehu, and I'm saying this to all Nigerians. In the sea of faces you saw there, you ought to have seen their children and their grandchildren. Not 85-year-old men, not 75-year-old men. You ought to have seen their children and their grandchildren if they had any real succession plans in their own homes. If they don't have any plans in their own homes. They suggested if they don't have plans in their own homes to have their children succeed them, is it for Nigeria?
They suggested that there are people within the ADC that are working for the ruling party. And they said they know that they will fight that opposition within and without.
Let me tell you something. The politics of these old people is all the politics of name calling. I don't want to do name calling with them. I want to bring them in the realm of ideas and solutions. Name calling won't work in this. That's what they did in the last election. And that is why Nigerians didn't have the opportunity to see debates where people were able to proffer solutions to our myriad problems. They've come with name calling. They will say, oh, APC is paying him, this is paying him. The myriad faces you saw there, the petrol faces you saw there, Shehu. I have a 9 to 5 that anybody says 9 to 5, this is where it goes to. Those people sit in their houses watching you, Shehu, on channels and watching Arise and drinking tea and drinking coffee and saying, Tinubu will take Tinubu out, but they don't have a job. They don't have jobs. I have a job. I have a 9 to 5. I have what feeds me and feeds my children.
So
the
Tinubu and APC did not pay you.
She will tell you something. President Tinubu, you have called him, said so many times that he's paying me. Because of this now, President Tinubu has to pay me. You know, we have a situation where what you call your enemy's enemy is your friend. That is what our situation is. But I can assure you, President Tinubu, if he knows anything about me, he knows that I'm eyeing his seats. But I can never have anything.
If there are those who say, look, what is going on in the country is not palatable. We need to have a fresh idea. We need to have a different way of doing things. And they say, we want to use the ADC platform. Is it possible for you to sit with them and say, okay, this is my grievance? And you see that they want to resolve the grievance, other than take away the bigger picture of fixing Nigeria's problem. Because the people who fix Nigerian problems is the people that Nigerian people are looking for.
Exactly, and that's why I'm here, Shehu. That's why I'm in your studio. I want to ask you a question. Someone came and burnt your house down. Neighbors start raising an alarm that your house is burning. Then all of a sudden, the fire brigade shows up, and the fire brigade, you see the men of fire brigade are the same people who burnt your house. Is that feasible? Do you think the people who destroyed our country, the same people who held sway in our political affairs for the last 3 decades, who brought us to where we are, you think these are the same people?
So you are not backing down?
Absolutely not.
You will fight this on?
I will tell you something,
Are you in court already?
Yes, of course we are in court. I will tell you something, Shehu. I was so determined to run for office after I watched 8 years of President Buhari. Shehu, I lost 8 years of my life to a government so inept that I swore that I will never be one who complains in the room or in restaurants. I will do something about it. Shehu, tell you what, Nigerians complain a lot. It's time for us to start doing something about our complaints.
We're totally out of time. Thanks so much, Mr. Dubebi Kachikwu.
Thanks for having me.
I wish you the very best.
Right.
But let's also tell our viewers that the Nigerian police force is also talking, and in respect of a planned protest by retired police officers, which is supposed to hold in several parts of the country. The police is saying that they are not going against the right of Nigerians to do so, and has assured them of security and preservation of dignity. And moreover, they have said that all of the police officers in charge of the state and the FCT should avail them security and allow them to exercise their right within the law. And the protest is scheduled to take place on Monday, primarily within the FCT and the other state command, where prior notification has been duly given. And that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Okimale. God bless Nigeria.